me check. Yes, we are live. Yo guys, and welcome back towards this new stream here on the channel. On today's stream, I'm going to talk about Bitcoin. I'm going to talk about this current pump we are getting on this market. So guys, make sure to sit right now ready, and I will be discussing some interesting market charts here, because guys, let's right away talk about the patterns and the charts we're currently forming, because yeah, Bitcoin is doing it once again. It's moving on Sunday evening, guys, and I apparently see that this stream right now actually exactly working? I don't know. Is it live? Oh, we are not live, I guess. Are we live? We are not live. Are we live? I don't know. Guys, I'm checking it out right now. We are live. Okay, we are in fact live. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties. I was checking up on some few things. So, let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about what we're currently doing here. I was just checking up on a few things there, if everything was working, but apparently we are live. But Bitcoin is starting to be moving up towards that upside region. Yes, I see you. Everyone is saying it in the chat right now. Of course, guys, I see it. There is a little bit of a delay, so thank you for, of course, letting me know here. But right now, Bitcoin is starting to be moving towards the upside, and I basically want to be addressing something bigger. And everyone is saying, yes, we are live. You are live indeed. We are live indeed together. I want to be pointing out something. I've been talking early today on my Telegram group already about this, but guys, I personally think right now we are looking at a way bigger consolidation phase we were thinking at the first place at all. We are currently looking at one crazy consolidation phase, and if I'm going to zoom out here, I have, of course, got this level over here. From the top side here on the left side, like you can see, you draw the line all the way down here. You can see a lot of significance is coming towards this chart. So you get 1, 2, 3, fake out over here, and then you get the fourth touch point over here. So this is actually a pretty interesting trend line to look at. We are not even close towards this trend line right now here. We got rejected on the top side last time around, but more importantly, guys, if we're going to look at the trend line we're currently heading support of, and I mean actually, guys, we are once again bouncing from this support level. I have been mentioning the support level several times before in my videos. You can see it right now. We've not only got one bounce, we've not only got two bounces, but this is already the third bounce we're creating from off this level. So you got number 1 over here, you got number 2 over here, and this is the third bounce we're currently creating. So this is actually a pretty interesting one to look at right now. And actually, we're going to definitely close in towards this region over here. I personally do not think that it is smart to look for shorting positions right now in this case at all. On the 1 hour time frame, there were some people on the internet talking about a potential bear flag, but of course in this case I was not really taking a bear flag scenario very seriously, since we were creating a lot of bullish momentum on the market, right? Momentum was climbing while the price action was decreasing, so we were seeing that bullish momentum phase getting formed here on the market, and this is right now also resulting in a more bullish continuation. And actually, if we're already going to be approaching a bear flag scenario, you can clearly see right now here, we are breaking above it right now. We could also talk about this critical resistance range over here. We broke above the resistance range. We're broke above the upper slope resistance line. So this is actually a pretty good development on Bitcoin. But more importantly, guys, what I think is very interesting to talk about is that Bitcoin is moving every single time on these Sunday evenings, right? These Sundays are definitely the periods in the market where Bitcoin likes to be moving, apparently. And I mean, it does make a lot of sense, because if we're going to compare the S&P 500 towards Bitcoin, the S&P has been outperforming Bitcoin over the past week here, and Bitcoin usually, once it gets outperformed by the S&P 500, moves up over the course of the weekend, and also the other way around. If the S&P 500 corrected harder and Bitcoin didn't correct it so hard, it usually means that Bitcoin is going to fall a little bit over the course of the weekend. So this is of course a pretty natural reaction we're getting from this market, and yeah, to trade above the 30K is also pretty nice, of course, right? But more importantly, I think we should be talking about what is next for Bitcoin. When will the Fed pivot? That is, of course, what everyone is talking about right now, right? So in hindsight, yeah, this is not, of course, a life-changing move here. Not in hindsight. This is right now, I can say you already, this is not a life-changing move here. This is not going to cause Bitcoin to choose a direction whatsoever. Of course, if we're zooming in, it looks so amazing. Bitcoin forms this beautiful green candle towards the upside. But if we're zooming out, we can clearly say, does this move not mean anything to Bitcoin right now? No, Bitcoin can still fall down very heavily. But more importantly, I think that this blue box is right now the box to look at. First of all, previously around, we were looking at a little bit of a smaller box, right? We were looking at this range over here. where we were, of course, expecting a bullish continuation towards the upside if we break above it. But right now, we can see also here on the left side here, we got rejected from that point over there as well here. And I will be basically say, as long as Bitcoin trades in this blue box area, so in this range between 26.5k and 32.5k, everything is all right. And I mean, actually, you know what's interesting? If Bitcoin, let's say, trades on the 32k, there's a lot of euphoria in the market, and if Bitcoin trades around 26.5k, a lot of people are panicking. But actually, if we're on the lower side over here, this is of course the lowest risk point here for accumulation, because you're basically buying at that lower side of this channel, right? So still, I want to be pointing out there is a very high probability that Bitcoin into the course of maybe not next week, of the week after, can still come down to 26.5k or something, or 27k. I personally think the bottom is in. The bottom was set on the previous week over here, but there is a potential possibility that Bitcoin is still going to visit these lower levels to, of course, ultimately basically fake out many people, because in the end of the day, we do know what the pop for Bitcoin is. Also, I have been setting up an Elliott wave structure here, and you can clearly see we have been looking for this impulsive wave structure right here. Last time around, we created 5 impulsive waves towards the upside. We created this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Elliott wave towards the upside. And always, if you don't know already, and you can see it also on my Twitter page here, make sure to also follow me on Twitter right away, guys. But if you are not familiar with these kinds of reversal patterns here, of the Elliott waves usually create these types of things, right? So let me zoom in a little bit here. An Elliott wave usually gets followed by an ABC correction, and after the ABC correction, we usually tend to be once again see another impulsive 5-way structure. So in this case, yeah, we could be argue right now, okay, is the Elliott wave structure, is the ABC correction done? And I mean, if we're going to look at this chart, we can clearly see, guys, this is not a very hard one to spot. This is a first impulsive leg down here, the A move. Then you got the corrective, basically, how could you say it? Yeah, a little bit of relief rally back towards the upside, the B wave. And right now, this is the C wave. The C wave is the last wave, and also usually the most longest. It takes the longest to really calm people down, because, yeah, it is also nice for the whales and big market players to be benefiting from the fear in the market. And I mean, I do get it. And actually, I've been seeing it very clearly on this chart here, guys. Look at this. This is the number of addresses of, Bitcoin getting hold. And let me do this like this. This is the number of addresses with more than 10,000 Bitcoin on it. And it is currently sitting around approximately 98 or so, I might say 99 wallets are holding more than 10,000 Bitcoins. And you can see there's a stealth increasement over the course of the past 2 to 3 weeks here. And what is also interesting, over the course of the past 2 to 3 weeks, we have been seeing the most ever suppressed price action for Bitcoin, you know? So, yeah, what is actually going on here? These large entities are increasing their position size. Well, I see the fear ingredient next, and well, I see the fundamental attacks I'm currently getting, because, yeah, people, that is also part of a bear market, right? People are going to fundamentally attack you about the things you believe in. So I believe in Bitcoin, and people are fundamentally attacking me because, yeah, they're saying, oh, I don't agree with this or that, and they're going to swear a lot of words. But that is, of course, very typical, because in bull markets, everyone makes money, everyone, they see their balance only increase, and of course, it makes you happy. But if you really want to be making the biggest profits and the biggest benefits from those bull markets, you have to be paying attention right now. And if you're going to be paying attention and you're going to look at the whales, what they're doing right now, it is pretty obvious what they're doing. I'm not saying that necessarily, yeah, Bitcoin ultimately has to go to 100k right now. No, that's not likely to happen. What I am trying to be pointing out over here is that there is a lot of whale accumulation. And do you really want to be missing out on the whale accumulation? And if we're going to look this as an Elliott wave structure, we could be, of course, once again, copy this structure on top of it. And right now, look at the same similar movement back towards the upside. And of course, from here on, an impulsive move to 50k will be actually pretty cool. Also, if I'm going to zoom in here, can Bitcoin come lower here? I will be talking about this as well. Yep, there are some possibilities Bitcoin is going to come lower. And I will be personally take all my focus here on this falling wedge pattern. The falling wedge pattern is definitely the pattern to look at right now. First of all, a falling wedge has an accuracy of 89% breaking towards the upside, and you can already clearly see it. I pointed it out also a lot of times on my Twitter. This is a very significant falling wedge pattern we're currently looking at. It's a beautiful one. It got a lot of touch points, and we're right now just forming a perfect falling wedge. And like I told you, an 89% chance of this one breaking towards the upside. Could it take another few months? Yes, for sure. We could be maybe wait another few months and Bitcoin could be maybe very terribly trade down to 27K or 28K, and we're still going to be trading in this pattern, because if I'm going to look at the pattern right now, we could be looking for a probability for Bitcoin coming down to 27 or 26K even, or even if it's going to consolidate even longer, we could come all the way down to 25K, right, and still be in the pattern. So let me extend this level, right, and let me set where we should be meeting an apex. So approximately, and this is also my prediction, ultimately, I personally think that Bitcoin is going to create that huge breakout before August 2022. So maybe, of course, like today, we're moving a little bit here, but ultimately speaking, we are going to be experiencing that huge breakout in the coming 81 days. So, is it going to happen earlier? Most probably. Most probably it's going to be happening earlier. Can Bitcoin come down? Yes, it can. But there's also a scenario, what I personally think is also more likely, because we already started to be bouncing. This looks to be that the bounce is already starting, right? And maybe into next week, we could be searching a little bit higher. Because on the daily time frame, guys, if I'm going to zoom in, this is actually a trend you want to be getting involved in, right? So this is a pretty interesting trend if you're going to look at high getting formed, higher high getting formed, low in the market, higher low in the market. So this is, of course, a beautiful trend reversal structure, right? We're forming that higher low right now in the market. And what I think will make a lot of sense is at least come back towards 34,000 US dollars, approximately. That's the top side of resistance. Then there's a possibility for another leg down here. Then, of course, we do know in 2 weeks from now on, we're going to get the Federal Reserve once again, hiking their interest rates in approximately 9 days from now on right now, guys. We're going to get the Federal Reserve announcing the hike of interest rates, and that could be probably drag Bitcoin down again. So a touch of 34 to 35K, come down again after that. That will be, of course, the most loveliest scenario, actually, in my opinion. Touch that top side, add even more significance to the pattern, and of course consolidate over the course of the week, the summer, because summers are usually very boring, and usually big capital is not entering over the course of the summer. So yeah, there is, of course, a perfect recipe for a very boring summer for Bitcoin. But I don't mind, because I will be buying more. And of course, I see 325 for you guys right now watching. That is absolutely amazing. I mean, this is the time to be paying our attention. So I still think, if we're zooming out, we are definitely okay. We just have to not lose focus. And of course, if we're going to talk about a price target, of course, I don't really like to talk about price targets, but actually, if you're going to look at the falling wedge, guys, price target is in this case 110% breakout target, 69,000 US dollars. We could, of course, spot also several other falling wedges in the Bitcoin price section. I mean, before going in towards that, Bitcoin, historically speaking, likes to be making these falling wedges. It loves it. They just love to making these patterns. And you can see them happening so many times before. You can see it happening over here into September, right? Falling wedge getting created over here. Continuation, bullish breakout. Falling wedge getting created over the course of the summer low here on Bitcoin. And also, once again, another continuation towards the upside. And you know what it is? In hindsight, it seems so obvious. It seems so obvious in hindsight. And that is always the point. In hindsight, it will all seem so obvious. And this is going to be the mega pattern to watch for. And of course, probably everyone on the internet will be talking about it in a few months or maybe a few weeks from now. And once we do decide to be breaking bullish. But of course, like you know on the channel, you are already getting the content out right now. So this is, of course, definitely the pattern to watch right now here. But we have been doing it several times in the past. And guys, I've got another cool chart for you guys prepared out there. This chart, the 3-day MACD cross chart. So this is the 3-day time frame for Bitcoin, and I enabled the MACD. And there are some interesting things that basically signal very, very positive weeks or days ahead of ourselves, guys. Even though Bitcoin is coming down a little bit here right now, I don't care. This is, of course, a signal that is on the larger time frames. First of all, I want to be getting your focus towards this green line over here, right? You can see green line is coming up. This is basically the average price of the lows, right? We are forming higher lows on the MACD. So basically what this means here, because the histogram of the MACD forms a lower low if the faster Bitcoin is basically going to fall in a more faster pace for a longer period of time, the bigger the histogram peak will be here. And like you can see right now, we're getting this period where the lows are getting higher. So we're forming higher lows. And you know what's interesting? At the same time, we are actually forming lower lows on the price section. So this is all first of all already a bullish divergence, a hidden bullish divergence, not a regular one, but a hidden bullish divergence. Make sure to search it up on Google, or I can search it up for you guys in a second from now on. Pretty bullish signal, if you would ask me. Bullish divergence from the histogram. Then at the same time, if we're looking back here, and I put these orange lines on top of it, right? The bullish crossover here on the 3-day time frame. And I mean, I can also point this one out here back in January over here. Like you can see, we had a bullish crossover over here as well, and that was of course also cascading basically this effect towards the upside. But let's talk about the last three that basically happened on the market. You saw one here on the 15th of July. That was the reversal signal that caused Bitcoin to be moving up very fast. Then you had another one here on October, also caused another run up towards new all-time highs. Then we saw one here in February. This one went a little bit sideways, but still formed up, ultimately formed higher highs from that point, right? We still formed a high of approximately 48.5K for Bitcoin. It was pretty epic actually to see still after that bullish crossover from the 3-day time frame on the MACD. And right now, guys, we are also seeing another crossover looming. It's not happening yet, it's looming. It's coming in right now. We're seeing the cross getting formed here, and it is of course not officially happening. That if we can get a very good 3-day close right now today, potentially it can be starting to happen tomorrow. So into the course of next week, this is spelling some bullish news here. And also, if you're going to be analyzing the pure, let me remove all the drawings here. And if you're going to analyze the pure moving average length, you can see here the moving average length is forming a higher low over here, while the price action is still forming a lower low. Also on the MACD, this is a historically speaking a hidden bullish divergence. Not historically speaking, it is a hidden bullish divergence. And also this one is getting formed from the histogram. So this is actually a pretty huge signal we're currently getting from the 3-day time frame on the MACD right now. So please make sure to use this in your advantage. This is a pretty interesting signal that Bitcoin is flashing right now. Then of course also a few things I want to be pointing out on-chain data. Of course, I talked about the number of 10K wallets basically increasing massively, of course, right? We can also still see right here on the Glassnode chart with addresses holding more than 1 Bitcoin. They're also still very strongly accumulating, and this is of course resulting in a very high accumulation trend score. And if you don't know already, accumulation trend score is a pretty important metric to look at, and let me get it in front of the screen right now. The accumulation trend score is a very important one to look at. Of course, it shapes different pictures in some different periods of markets, because you can also, of course, get high accumulation once the market is standing very high. And hopefully this chart can load up here, because it's always a pain in the beep for loading up. So let me relog it. Maybe it's working right now. Glassnode Studio, come on, don't fail me. So, okay, apparently it's failing. Oh, there it is. So, there are different points on this metrics, right? So, there could be, of course, strong accumulation in towards an uptrend. That could be happening. But there could also be strong accumulation in towards a downtrend. And like you can see, basically in periods where there is low accumulation, so low activity from these 1 Bitcoin addresses, once there's not a lot of new money flowing in towards the market, or basically willing to absorb the market, it is not a good signal. So, of course, in the bull run of 2020, 2021, you saw high accumulation. And basically, once the strong accumulation stopped, that was basically the top of the market, right? Then, of course, you can say, okay, yeah, the summer low, we were not seeing high accumulation. But that was because a lot of people were in fear, and they were really not expecting that movement back up here. However, of course, in the March 2020 correction, you saw also strong accumulation. In the bear market also, you saw strong accumulation. And once again, on this downtrend along the way down over here, a lot of sell pressure got absorbed, and that's pretty good. But once again, in this previous period in the market, we were not seeing high accumulation. However, it is returning once again right now. We are seeing high accumulation back in towards the market. And that is actually a pretty good signal to get here, because there's a high amount of people actually interested on buying Bitcoin. And of course, it's a very silent audience, because the people are not really screaming to be buying. But still, in the back of the picture, because many people on social media are extremely bearish, or are really sharing a very bearish thought on the market. But still, those people over here, they don't care. And if you don't know already, the number of Bitcoin the number of Bitcoin addresses holding the more than 1 Bitcoin is setting an all-time high after all-time high every single freaking day, guys. And currently it's sitting on 800,000, 48,802. So that is actually pretty impressive to see right now. Also, a thing I want to be pointing out here is the latest World Economic Outlook for the growth of projections. So, in order to really forecast about where the traditional stock market, or where traditional assets are heading towards, this has nothing to do with Bitcoin, because we think Bitcoin moves together with the S&P 500, so maybe it does have a little bit in correlation with Bitcoin. But what I want to be pointing out right now here is that in 2021, generally speaking, of the world, all the currencies combined to each other, we saw a 6.1% economic growth. However, the projections, the forecast for 2022 is 3.6%. And for 2023 as well, 3.6%. And this is pretty important to look at, because as the projection of economic growth slows down here, it means there's going to be less demand. First of all, it means two things. There's probably the reason why it's currently happening here is because people, and of course Walmart CEO has been as well saying it, people are ordering less stuff. Walmart CEO is saying it right now. First of all, he liked the money injection from the US, basically, because that cost him to make a lot of money because people were ordering more stuff. But now people are starting to order less stuff here, and this is going to be result in a very interesting circle, because right now we have an issue that we need for every single person. We basically want to hire 2 persons, so we have a very, very scarce market, and we need a lot of new players on the market. However, right now Walmart is saying, people go home because we've not got the work for you. And that is, of course, also why the world's economic growth forecast is also coming down right now. People are ordering less stuff, going to result in less economic growth here, is going to result in economic slowdown. And this is inevitably going to cause, of course, a worldwide recession. And actually, is the worldwide recession going to be happening in 2022? Or is it going to be happening in 2023? We don't know. But I actually don't really think it's going to come in 2022. And it's also very interesting because the Federal Reserve is right now still very busy with quantitative tightening, basically shrimping the balance sheet. But at some point, they're probably going to once again stop doing that. And that could cause, of course, a boom across all the markets. And basically what I want to be trying to be pointing out right now here, we're in a cocktail about all these things that are happening in the world. And we don't know what is going to go down here. We don't know what is going to come down. Well, Bitcoin is exactly coming down, as I think we do know right now. But it's very hard to forecast where the market is right now heading towards, all the markets. And there are some things you can do here. You could make some risk maps. You could be making some decisions right now. Okay, these are the things I want to be buying. These are the things I don't want to be buying. And actually, the things that I'm currently not buying are stocks like Amazon or whatsoever, because we're having a recession forecast, right? So this is not smart to have on your balance sheet. However, I still think that Bitcoin is a good. I mean, we don't know how Bitcoin is going to react in a recession, right? That's the thing we don't know. But personally, historically speaking, gold has always performed very well in these recessions. So why would Bitcoin not do the same? And altcoins just will keep on bleeding. Money is going to move into Bitcoin. People are just going to purely look for that safe haven, not for those stupid altcoins. And that is why the Bitcoin dominance, guys, is also rising massively. And this is also a thing I have been warning you guys for. This is a thing I've been clearly warning you guys for. The Bitcoin dominance is going to keep on rising. The altcoin dominance is going to keep on falling. And you know my target. My target is 52%. And if I'm going to look at the altcoin dominance, guys, basically the inverted chart. I rather like to look at this chart because I just think this chart is a little bit more fun to read because we're seeing a fall instead of an increase. But you can see we broke a very important trend here. And my target for the altcoin dominance is 48%, equaling Bitcoin dominance at 52%. This chart is so far going perfectly as forecasted, and I personally also think there is going to be way more pain for altcoins in the course over the coming weeks here. Whether Bitcoin is going to increase or decrease, in the end of the day, I think if we're going to talk about now and 5 weeks from now on, altcoins are probably devaluated even more from of this point. So I will be very careful with all kinds of altcoins right now. And that's the point I want to be trying to be making. Be careful with altcoins. And if you want to be just making a safe investment, and if you want to be parking your money at a safe place, and especially if you live in Europe, I finally moved away from Europe. And guys, tomorrow my PC is coming here, and I'm going to be making a crazy setup to make crazy content and crazy videos and do a lot of live streams with you guys out there. So make sure to be back and subscribe to the channel right now here. But would you, if you live in Europe, you are pretty screwed. I mean, I am screwed as well here, but all Euro countries are pretty screwed. You know why? Is because the countries from the south, so Italy, Spain, they have a very high debt. And the countries from the north, like Netherlands, where I'm from, they don't have a very big national debt. And there is a very big difference between these countries right now getting started. So Europe, it's the United States doesn't have this issue, right? But Europe got a way bigger problem on their hands than the US right now. And I personally think that we are right now potentially in the fall of the Eurozone. And if all the euros going to be devaluating or basically be worthless, what are you going to be doing with your money right now if you know that's going to be the future, right? Of course, the future is never going to be certain, but there are some forecasts you could be making right now, and that is why I am definitely still DCAing more into Bitcoin. But look at this terrible candle. Excuse me so much. It's getting rejected so hard right now, and that's what everyone's saying. Excuse me, guys. I was in the middle of my story time. But yeah, I want to be pointing out, this is, of course, looks to be the resistance range to be looking at then in this case. But this is a major rejection, guys. This is terrible. This is terrifying. This is absolutely terrifying what we're currently seeing with Bitcoin. So, yeah, we could be arguing we're currently getting a retest or whatsoever. But yeah, we are currently not really having a positive movement towards the upside or whatsoever, because this is not looking like a beautiful rejection. Of course, guys, in every single red candle we create right now, I think it's good. Why? It's because we're once again eliminating sell pressure. It's a process, guys. These markets over here, why is it also so boring? It's a process. It's a process. This takes very long. Why? And once again, zoom out if you're definitely in doubt here, because not a lot have been changing up over here. And like I told you, Bitcoin is on that uptrend right now. And of course, we could be argue over here right now, are we in that larger bear frag right now on Bitcoin? Could it be the point to be worrying? Could be so. I mean, Bitcoin could be maybe consolidate like this, and we're going to come down here and we're going to stop out on 26K and we're going to move up again. I mean, I will be definitely keep my eyes out on this support line over here as main support. But yeah, we're definitely forming a bear flag potentially on the daily time frame, even though I still think the significance is lacking, but I will be definitely talk about it. And I will be keep my eyes wide open on it, because a break below it will be definitely bad for Bitcoin, of course, right? What is good to buy in? I have only a handful of altcoins I'm currently buying in, and I have Bitcoin, of course. So the altcoins I'm buying into is FTX token, FTT, BNB, also good. I mean, I'm just buying into these tokens because they have very high cash flow models. Also, Chainlink, even though I personally think of these three coins I'm currently calling, Chainlink probably got the most downside potential. And I think, yeah, Cardano, I start to really accumulate once again some more Cardano, but still I think it can fall even further. But I just am excited about the project, because I personally think in the future, if the bull market comes or whatsoever, Cardano is going to perform very well here. Only catching that exact bottom right now is very hard. So I will definitely go for all the altcoins, and even BNB. Even BNB has been performing very well. Go for the DCA strategy. Lots of will accumulation going on, and that is a fact. And I have been warning you guys about it. The whales are accumulating, and it is no joke. This is no joke at all. The whales are clearly accumulating, and if you don't see this, yeah, you have to be opening your eyes, I guess. But yeah, look at this, guys. This is, let me zoom out even further on, and let's see how whales exactly behave themselves, right? So they sell into strength. So in the bull market, they sell off. Then they do nothing, and of course in bear markets they like to be buying. So they like to be buying into weakness. They like to distribute into strength, and that is just purely what they're doing right now, and that is what they have been doing every single time, over and over and over and over again. So yeah, please make sure to keep that in your keep your eyes wide open on that one, because it's pretty interesting to look at right now. So yeah, wolves are stepping in towards the market right now, but Bitcoin is of course coming down again here. Rover's resistance on the 4 hourly. Let me check. Yeah, we could be talking about this resistance on the 4 hourly. I mean, I've been. Let me go to my other chart even. I call this my resistance range on the 4 hourly time frame. I'm not really looking for a trend here on the 4 hourly time frame towards the downside. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty neutral on this one. I'm pretty neutral. I'm not going to really. I've not on this breakout towards the upside as well. I've not called really anything specific. I've called this potential breakout of this bear flag that we created here, but we broke above it. We are right now trying to re-enter again. So it is pretty weird what Bitcoin is doing, but still remember it's the weekend. It is Sunday evening. And Bitcoin does like to be moving on the Sunday evening, especially towards the upside. So let's see. 29.7k. Yeah, there's not a lot of development actually right now going on here. But yeah, pretty interesting. Altcoin dominance still falling down here. And we're going to keep on looking towards this larger time frame. We're going to keep on looking. And of course, guys, yeah, we could call, I see some people saying it's a dump. But yeah, look at the daily time frame. Also, I already addressed here earlier today. We are not looking at a pumper whatsoever. This was on the daily time frame, not even a move here. It was an average of slightly $100 move towards the upside. Even to $300. So not that special actually. Do you think the bottom is around 22k, 20k? If you're talking dollars, no, I don't think so. Euros, I don't even know what the euro valuation is here. But no, I don't think the bottom is 20k here. I think the bottom is higher, and I personally think it's potentially already set on 25.4k. Why? Many reasons. I yesterday also pointed this out on the tweet over here. MicroStrategy's, their average purchasing price was 30.7k. So you're right now having the opportunity, the chance to be buying cheaper than Sailor. Pretty big opportunity, right? And I mean, once again, guys, a thing I'm trying to be pointing out here. You are currently buying lower than many other institutions. And that is basically a pretty big opportunity, if you would ask me. You're buying for an average price that lays lower than Sailor's average buy price. And you know that guy is almost all in, guys. That's pretty insane, right? So Sailor is, of course, bullish on Bitcoin. And he says this, guys. He says this.
Now, what happens to all these wonderful models if 10 billionaires decide to buy $1 billion of Bitcoin each and announce we bought it, we're going to buy more?
You know, all those if those billionaires are going to say I'm going to buy Bitcoin, you know what's going to happen? Oh, sorry, I don't think if you guys have any sound with it, so that's pretty terrible. Okay, and I saw it was also not very well worked. It was not working out that well. Excuse me for me. That's because on my laptop, and I'm not that well with my laptop. So yeah, there was no sound on it. Excuse me for that. But yeah, Sailor basically said there are many billionaires in the industry, and what if 1 or 10 of them decide to be investing 10% of their wealth into Bitcoin? It will change up everything, guys. And that is why Bitcoin has so much possibilities and growth opportunities to still grow here. And that is why Bitcoin is inevitably going to be moving up here. And also another reason why Bitcoin is inevitably going to be grow inflation rate. Bitcoin. The reason why Bitcoin is also going to be inevitably grow, and let me go towards this chart here. Let me explain it. The supply shock we're currently creating. This is a pretty interesting topic to talk about. So, if you know already, Bitcoin balance on exchanges has been decreasing massively over the course of the last years here, basically. And right now, we have been once again seeing a little bit of a spike back up here. There's some panic selling going on here, and that's what you can clearly see on the bottom right of the screen, right? There was some panic selling going on here, and that's why some balance on exchanges shoot up again, just like in May 2021, right? In periods of fear, so in this period over here as well, once fear kicks in, people like to sell their Bitcoin. That is just a fact. Once fear kicks in, people tend to sell. Well, this is usually the exact other way around, right? And this time around here, once again, there's fear in the market, and we see the the balance of exchanges increase once again. However, we're once again continuing the trend down. We're once again seeing another spike down in terms of balance on exchanges decreasing. This is also due to the high accumulation trend score. This high amounts of accumulation in the market resulting in potential very good basically increasements for Bitcoin. And you know that in 2 years from now on, guys, I'm trying to be bringing in perspective for you guys out there. In 2 years from now on, Bitcoin is going to have a halving event. That halving event is going to cause Bitcoin to create even less Bitcoins. Every 10 minutes, there's going to be even less Bitcoin coming in supply. And it's exactly 50% of the creation we're currently having. And you can see that the Bitcoin supply shock has never existed. Never. Because like you can see in the history for Bitcoin, we've always seen an inflow of Bitcoin into exchanges, right? There's always been a growth of Bitcoin. However, the turning point was May 2020. And what happened in May 2020? We had the halving, the Bitcoin halving, that resulted in Bitcoin getting basically the halving. And if you don't know what the halving is here, approximately 4 years, Bitcoin halves its basically the Bitcoins that are getting mined are getting 50%, getting halved. That's basically what it means here. And that is resulting inevitably the growth of Bitcoin. That's going to be creating the scarcity Bitcoin is owning, right? So just imagine we're going to get another halving. So we're right now having a pretty stealth downtrend. And if we're having another halving, we're going to even see another stronger trend towards the downside. This is the supply shock for Bitcoin. And the next halving on top of it is going to make it even more crazier. So getting your hands on any Bitcoin is going to be pretty hard, and it's going to be even harder in the future. It's already hard because it's valued at $30,000, right? But it will be even harder in the future. So, yeah, once again, trying to be pointing it out here, Bitcoin is not a short-term investment. Bitcoin is a long-term investment. And if you're not convinced, look at the charts. There's a run on Bitcoin going on in the back of the screen. It's nothing to do with price action. It's nothing to do with price action. Price action reflects a little bit of the small part of it, but I don't really think that reflecting on price action right now is a smart thing to do. Like I told you, I think that we're currently trading in a range where reflecting on price action is just not maybe the way to go for, right? This is not the period to reflect on price action. What we should be reflecting a little bit more on is like what is exactly going on in the background, right? To make up our opinion to, let's say, take a trade or whatsoever, right? So the reason why I'm, of course, accumulating and the reason why I'm, of course, trying to be building up insane long positions is because in the background, everything is looking very positively. We're seeing a high amount of accumulation going on here. We're seeing everything is, basically is coming together. So that is why production. Yeah, guys, I was not coming. James Bond. No, production. I was not coming out of my mouth. The words were not coming out of my mouth. I don't know why. It is just something that happens on Sunday evenings. So, yeah, pretty insane what we're having. Hey, bro, I'm in the gym in Medellin, Colombia, watching your stream. Alex, you are an absolutely legend. Watching from Colombia. That's pretty crazy. Do we buy right now? I can't give you any financial advice there, but definitely part of my strategy, like I just explained to you, is dollar cost averaging every single day here. So, yeah, guys, it was a little bit of a shorter stream here. Anyways, it was pretty amazing talking to you guys out there once again on the channel. I try to be back as soon as something happens, interestingly, on the market, so make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you guys on the